Hello folks, my name is Mark. This is Why Hate the World. How you guys doing? So we got to talk about YouTube because there's a lot of things changing and YouTube is not going to be the same, a couple of years from now that it is now. First off, we have this law that they're changing their policy to be in compliance with, which is the CCPA, COPPA, however you pronounce that. Basically, you're not allowed to market to children. Right, and YouTube has been marketing to children, right? Even though they have in their terms of service, it says you have to be 13 because you're not allowed to collect data on children that are under 12, right? And they got, fined for this, like millions of dollars. So they're putting the responsibility of that onto the content creator. The problem is that as a content creator, you have no control over what data actually gets collected. So YouTube could change all this by just not collecting data on people under 12. They know who the kids are. They know which accounts belong to children. They can tell by how and who watches what content, right? And so they know who you are, right? And they could just not collect it. But instead, they're putting that responsibility on the creator. And there's a little button that says, is this video created for children or is it not? And you supposedly are supposed to be able to set your entire channel to say, not for children. So none of your videos would be marketed to children. There would be no ads, for things like toys or games or whatever. The problem is that there's a very, very large segment of YouTubers, one that I personally kind of enjoy. In fact, I'm actually part of because I have another video channel. But there's a big segment of YouTubers that make videos in regards to things like video games, toy reviews, board games, reviewing cartoons, anime, Cartoon Network, Steven Universe, shit like that. There's a lot of creators that make content and related to those things, right? Well, they're going to get swept up by this policy and basically they're not going to make any money, which for somebody like me, it doesn't fucking matter because I don't even have ads. So whatever. I actually used to have ads and then they took them away, right? Which is bullshit, but what are you going to do? But I actually have another video channel called UCD Videos, which I don't know if sometimes, I don't know if you see the little videos down in the thing on my channel. But where I actually talk about video games and movie reviews and action figures and shit like that. In fact, I started doing the action figure reviews on this channel and I moved them to that one. Right. So yeah, now that one, basically, if I ever get ads on it, I could be potentially fined $40,000 if YouTube decides my video is for kids, even when I told them it wasn't for kids. Now that one I'm not too worried about because it's just going to take a couple of lawsuits in order to get over that. Because what's going to happen is that, the FCC is going to fine somebody saying, hey, you have ads on your video, it's collecting data from kids, right? They're going to take YouTube to court saying, hey, I clicked the fucking thing saying that no, my video was not for children, and you put ads on it anyway. You collected data for it anyway. YouTube's going to try to say, well, you were supposed to not do that. And I really think that the content creator will ultimately win. It's just going to have to happen to someone who's a big channel that has money, that has the resources. What's going to happen is that, some little channels might get affected by this and be utterly crushed. And people like, Pixel Dan and shit like that, right? Those guys are going to be out of business. They're going to have to just go to a Patreon model specifically and just turn off YouTube ads completely because the risk is too high, But I think ultimately that one will be decided in a court case. It's still fucking bullshit. It basically means that my UCD Videos channel is never going to have ads on it, right? Because it's not worth the risk, It's like, even if I did make the threshold, because you have to have 1,000 subscribers and X number of video minutes watched. Even if I hit that threshold, it's not worth getting fined $40,000. If that fucking happened to me, that's my life savings right there. I actually could pay that, right? But that would be it. I'd be busted, and it would probably put me in debt a little bit. So that's fucking bullshit. The next thing that's happening, because that's not the only thing. The next thing that's happening is that as of December 10th, there's a new terms and conditions happen, the terms of service for YouTube. And basically, in those terms of service, it says that they have the right to delete any channels that are not commercially viable. essentially is what it comes down to. And, you know, if you read this, it kind of sounds to me, you know, that I'm kind of not too panicky about this, because it sounds a little bit to me like they're doing this as a way of reserving the right to remove channels that are filled with hate speech. That's what it sounds like to me, right? Because you know, not commercially viable. Well, what on YouTube currently means you're not commercially viable, right? The things that you get denied ads for, right? Making hate videos with hate speech, basically. But it's written in such a way that it could include anything. That's the problem, right? Because other things that will not, you know, that will deny you monetization are having topical news videos, right? That denies you monetization, right? Having controversial videos, anything that has the word terrorism in it, even if you're like, you know, examining a news story, talking about the news that it just happens to be about terrorism, or if you're doing a deep dive into like the causes of terrorism, shit like that, you know, anything that has to do with politics, you know, that'll get you demonetized. Anything, if you even say the word Nazi, you know, something like that, you'll get demonetized. Shit like that. And so it has the effect of catching too wide of a net, and, you know, where you're going to end up getting videos that have nothing to do with hate speech, or even videos that are anti-hate speech, right? And then YouTube can turn around, and if they don't like the content of those videos, just say, hey, you're not commercially viable. There goes your channel. And, you know, and the thing is, it also leaves it open for any account. So even if you're just watching, right? So if they determine that you're somebody that they don't like, you know, let's say that you're an activist or something, then they can delete your channel. So yeah, that's a little fucking disturbing. I mean, I want to wait and see what's happening. I know that there's like a boycott and shit going on right now. These things personally don't really affect me so much because my video is tiny. The first thing, the thing with COPPA, me personally, I will not be affected. You know, I will be sad to see a lot of toy and anime review channels going away if that happens, or not getting monetized, or having to go straight up to Patreon. The second thing definitely could, you know, affect me and channels like mine, because I don't have ad revenue. I used to. They took it away, right? They took it away because of, way back, if you remember a couple years ago, all those like kid videos, you know, where people were making videos for children, and it was like all weird and sexual content, you know, and be like Elsa hanging out with Spider-Man or something, and it'd just be like adults in costumes running around and pillow fighting and doing vaguely sexual things, you know. They took my, you know, in order to remove shit like that, and then also to tamp down on hate speech, they've been, you know, that's when they took away all the subscribers for people that had all the ad revenue from people who had less than 1,000 subscribers and X number of video watched. One other thing I want to say though is that this is not something that, you know, is something that might happen in the future. YouTube actually has been removing hate speech videos for a while now, you know. Hundreds of thousands of them, millions of, you know, like just check that out online, because they've already been doing it for the last couple of years, you know, videos specifically targeting hate speech. So that's what kind of gives me a little bit of ray of hope here. I'm thinking maybe was the motivation behind this, right? And maybe if we put enough pressure on them, they might rewrite it to make it a little more specific, so that other people, normal people who are not, you know, we're not making videos about hate speech, will not be targeted. But I don't know. Then again, it could just be some kind of corporate cash grab where they want to force tiny video creators like myself out, and they want to focus on big creators like Disney and Viacom and you know, Warner Brothers and shit like that, where they want to just, so then YouTube just becomes all about professionally, you know, produced videos with corporate backing, right? And TV shows and shit like that. They're already kind of moving in that direction. You know, they already have like a pay service. You know, you didn't used to have to pay YouTube to watch shit. They already got that going, right? So it's like maybe that's what they're trying to do. Maybe they're trying to force all the little guys out so that they can become something like Netflix. Maybe that's what they want, you know. Who knows what'll happen. I mean, I don't know. I kind of hate to see it go away. That's my thing, you know. I watch YouTube all the fucking time, and I really hate it. You know, I'd really hate to see it go away, because there really is no viable alternative. You know, there's places like LiveLeak, you know, or DTube, which like nobody fucking watches, and you know, they have like 1/10 of the content that YouTube has. It's like, no, I don't want to see YouTube go away. I want to see it fix itself up. Anyway, should probably cut this short. Or went on for way too long. That's all I got, folks. Adios.